And we are live. Hey there, and welcome to the February Ch1Con Chat. Uh, so I am Julia Byers, and it looks like we have one other person on. Kira, are you there? Okay, we're gonna let technology work itself out. But basically, okay, if you're joining us, Ch1Con Chat is a monthly video chat that members of the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference team and our friends put on to talk about issues in writing and reading, primarily of young adult fiction, and just to try to get perspectives on it. And there's Kira. So, like I said, I'm Julia Byers, and I am the founder of the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference. And here we have Kira Budge, who is one of our other team members. Kira, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm a person. My name's Kira. Hello. I'm a creative writing major at BYU, Idaho, and yeah, that's pretty much all I do is write things.
So Kira is our online person. You have the most awesome job title, and I'm blanking on it right now.
It's online administrator.
That's it. So Kira runs a lot of social media stuff, and when we do blog tours and stuff like that, she's the one who sets everything up. So she's basically a superhero. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Spartacus.
Yeah, he wanted to say hi, apparently.
If you don't know who Spartacus is Kira's adorable little cat. Oh no, we're doing Google effects again.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Alright, so...
going?
Okay, so we
Okay.
should get Ariel on in a minute. I'm sorry that, we actually had a viewer this past week be like, why are your chats so disorganized at the beginnings? And it's because Google Plus is a terrible platform, but we have to use this if we want to broadcast onto YouTube. So basically, we just wait around until technology works so everyone can get on. So we should have a couple more team members joining us tonight for the chat. As soon as they can. So if you are just joining us, like I said before, we are discussing the representation of education in fiction this month. So that's exciting. We get to talk about school.
Yay!
If you have any questions or comments you want to share with us, you can tweet to us using hashtag Ch1Con, and that's one like the numeral number one, not like the word one. Kira, are you going to draw it out for me?
I would like to, yes. I'm inviting you to draw.
Okay.
Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
goodness. Okay. We are going to use hashtag. Can I move where? There. Whoa, it's doing weird stuff.
Yeah, see if it's stuck on your face, then it's just gonna follow your face and it'll only be right next to it.
How do
So
I
you
make
should
it not do that? There.
change the
Okay.
background thing. Because up where there's the trash can, there's also a face and a square. The square is the one
Gotcha.
that
Okay. Thank you for understanding technology better than me. This is why Kira is our internet person. Okay, I'm gonna stick that up there. Alright, awesome. Okay, hang on. We've got someone on Skype. I'm assuming Ariel. Yeah. Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna try re-inviting Ariel because it didn't go through.
As usual. It's always gonna not go through for somebody.
Alright, I just invited her, so let's see if this works. Hang on. I'm gonna tweet that we are live. Why am I doing that on my phone?
Too many technologies.
Yeah. Hang on.
No Doctor Who. Twitter.
How did you get to Doctor Who from Twitter?
I was just my Kindle was already on Doctor Who. So.
Alright, here we go.
On the far. Wow, my mouse is being weird. Okay.
So I just tweeted the video. So
Yeah.
okay, here we go, guys. I mean, oh my gosh, now there's a flower on us. So
You needed something
Kira,
pretty.
Kira, what's the weather like down there?
I think it's okay. It's just weather.
Okay.
Just
It was -21 here today.
yeah.
So
No, like 20 degrees or something like that. Oh hi.
nice.
So. Blah! Blah! Okay.
Okay, well, while we are waiting for Ariel, let's see if we've got anything going on the hashtag. Not yet. So, also, if you're watching, we had the exciting announcement last week. Carol, what are you doing?
I'm playing with special effects.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, last week we made the exciting announcement that registration for the 2015 Chapter One Young Writers Conference is now open. So if you want to join us in Chicago on August 8th, we are going to have an awesome conference with lots of young, talented, successful speakers. And those include the 3 speakers we've been able to announce so far. There will be 5 speakers overall, and we're just finalizing details on contracts with the other 2, but then we'll announce those guys too. But so far what we have is our keynote speaker, Kat Zhang, who is the author of the Hybrid Chronicles, which came out from HarperCollins and are fantastic. So that's so exciting. Kat speak before, and she's really great. And then we also have Ava J, who is going to be leading one of our sessions, and she is a debut author with her first book coming out in 2016, and she like blogs and vlogs and does like all kinds of stuff online, and she's also like an assistant editor for a publishing house. Like, she's incredible and so knowledgeable and will be like great for teaching. And then we also have Taryn Albright, who is probably better known as the Girl with the Green Pen, and she is a freelance editor who has had over 50 of her clients go on to sign with agents and have book deals and be New York Times bestsellers and like all kinds of crazy things. So like, she's gonna be leading one of our workshops. So like, that's incredible. You get to learn from her. And on top of that, Ava J's literary agent, Louise Fury, who is a fantastic literary agent. I've also met her, and she's super nice and super cool and like a great agent.
You met her?
I met her. I pitched her at a conference once. She was actually the first agent I ever pitched in person, and I was so scared, and she was so nice about it. So like, I like have a lot of love and respect for Louise Fury. She probably has no idea who I am, and I'm just like, ah. Anyway, though, she is currently closed to query letters, which, if you don't know, is the way that you pitch your novel to a literary agent so that they can go on to sign you and then sell your book to a publisher. But she's closed to query letters, but she has offered to open to them for up to 10 days from conference participants. So if you come to the conference, then you also have the opportunity to query Louise Fury, which is like incredible because she's a great agent. And like I said, like super nice and just super awesome. So that is what's been going on with us for the past week or so. And give me 1 second. Okay, we need to invite Ariel again.
Is Aisha joining us?
I haven't heard anything from her in a few days.
Okay, because she just retweeted that we're chatting.
Okay, so she might be joining us then. I feel really bad. I haven't been doing a good job keeping up with stuff lately.
I'm sure you've been busy with other stuff.
My past couple weeks have involved lots of conference stuff, like setting up registration and finalizing contracts and all that, along with submissions to university creative writing awards, along with midterms and like 10 papers and short stories and movie reviews and stuff I've had to write for classes. So like all that plus like family stuff, and yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks. That is college, guys. I'm sure if you're not in college yet, you're quite looking forward to it. But it is a good time. It's just really tiring. So,
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting at home complaining about the fact that my brother makes me play video games with him, so, you know.
tortured soul.
Well, he does yell at you a lot, so.
I mean, I have no right to complain about my classes. Right now, I'm taking literally nothing but fun classes because I'm done with gen eds and I'm just taking stuff for my major and my minor now. And like fun stuff on top of that. So right now, I'm taking a writing film criticism class, a class about like new Hollywood cinema. So like we watched like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last week, and a fantasy literature class, creative writing, and choir. Like, and then I'm going to be starting I'm also taking a like how to blog 101 class. So like
that.
But yeah, so like I'm complaining about how much work I have to do, but it's all fun work at least. So right.
What she wrote likes our topic, apparently.
Oh, awesome. Eventually we will get to that topic. I think Ariel has given up for getting on.
Oh.
So we can just be the two of us for now, and then if anyone else wants to join, it happens to have the link to get in, which means you are a member of Chapter Ch1Con Chat. Feel free to join in at any time. But we will get started now, I guess.
No phone allowed.
So, for anyone who's just joining us, I see we just gained a couple viewers. This is Chapter Ch1Con Chat, which is a monthly video chat that the members of the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference team puts on to talk about writing and reading and editing and querying and publishing and all that good stuff. And our topic for this month is the representation of education in fiction, which I'm so excited to talk about. And if you want to ask us a question or just have like a random comment, and it doesn't need to like pertain to the specific topic, like any question whatsoever, we will answer it as long as it's appropriate. And just tweet at us using hashtag #Ch1Con, which you should see on your screen up there by the flower. So, okay, Ariel is going to try it again later, but not right now, I guess. Okay. So, let's get started with our first question. Yay. So, first, and also if you're watching the chat and you want to answer the questions, feel free to answer them using the hashtag as well. We will read your answers out. So, first question. Do some of your favorite books have parts that take place in school, and if so, which ones?
Hogwarts.
As I was writing the question, I was like, I should just like include Hogwarts in here, like anything but Hogwarts.
But Hogwarts is the ultimate answer.
Yeah, there's that one. Gallagher Girls by Allie Carter takes place in a boarding school as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was also like thinking of stuff that like takes place in schools that like aren't boarding school, just like traditional high schools. Like, I was about to say Looking for Alaska, but it's also a boarding school. But Paper Towns is just like a regular public high school, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
Like the Anna and the French Kiss, like that series, they've got their fun high school in France.
That's true.
Any others?
Stuff in high school is contemporary, and like I read contemporary, but I don't connect much as like fantasy and sci-fi. Yeah. So I'm just thinking Hunger Games, and I'm like, well, there is a school, but you never
school. They talk about school, they just never go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Just they're too busy dying for school, so.
Yeah. Really, just like contemporary fiction in general, unless it takes place like during the summer, I feel like it almost always has some kind of school element to it. Maybe not like in the classroom, but like they're at school.
You know, the one contemporary that I think I own is one that doesn't have high school because it's The Fault in Our Stars, and they got their GED and everything because they're too sick.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like having school and books, apparently.
Yeah, no, I like this was actually something that I was thinking about where so the reason that I suggested this topic to begin with is because in my fantasy literature class we've been discussing how a lot of fantasy literature is like anti-education. And you see this in the way that like in the Chronicles of Narnia, for example, their adventures start once they move away from school. So it's summer vacation, so they're like moving away from school in that way. They're leaving London to go out to the countryside, so they're moving away from school that way. Like, it was like the movement away from school leads to more happiness, and I thought that was like a really interesting thing, especially because C.S. Lewis worked at Oxford as like a fellow, so he was teaching classes.
Don't bother coming to college. Just go to Narnia.
So it was interesting that my professor brought up that like a lot of books have this like strange the adventure starts when you're outside of school, but then also you get a lot of contemporary books where a lot of stuff happens in school. It's just an interesting thing to think about. Yeah. Okay. Ariel had a comment. So she says she feels like regular high school books are always like the real learning is in the cafeteria, but in real life students spend a lot of time in class. She said Princess Diaries kind of show the classes, and I totally agree with that. Because it's true. Princess
They're
Diaries.
the Hunger Games. That's what Aisha's just said.
Yeah,
She's wondering why.
I feel like like why what exactly?
Why do you hate the Hunger Games so obviously much? Because like you have it on your wall, so obviously you just hate it so
Oh, I
much.
I despise the Hunger Games. It's a terrible series. I don't know who put those up, but who put those up, but they're just there, and I'm too lazy to take them down. It happens every time I move. Like every dorm room, every bedroom, somehow these posters have ended up on the walls, and I don't understand. Like it's terrible.
They're just torturing you.
Hang on. Um, Aisha, why aren't you on right now? If you're watching. Um,
Maybe you're still having issues with Google like last time and the time before that.
Ariel pointed out that sometimes the big life lessons are things that you actually learn in your real classes, like in Dead Poet Society, which is a movie, not a YA book, but that's also a really good point. Like, if you, I feel like we don't get that much in YA, but then you get it more, like, I don't know, in, like, adult fiction about, like, teachers. I guess because, like, then the teacher would be the main character, but, like, having the really monumental teacher who, like, changes life for the students. Which is totally a thing. I had teachers in high school who totally, like, turned my life around.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm gonna try inviting people again.
Just keep inviting them, maybe they'll come.
What I'm confused about is every time this happens, we get a couple people, but no one else. And, like, it's just that Google isn't sending out the invitations properly, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, Google needs to up their game a little bit.
I don't understand. Like, I just want to broadcast on YouTube. It should not be this difficult. Okay, so moving on to our next question, I guess. So number 2, do you think young adult fiction generally has a pro or negative traditional education stance, i.e. learning in the classroom? So, like, learning in the classroom versus learning outside the classroom, I guess.
Probably we're going negative, probably. Overall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the feel I had too. And actually, this is, gosh, I need to just like stop bringing stuff in from my classes, but this is a thing about classes, so I'm going to talk about it, I guess. My fantasy literature class, we were talking about Hogwarts being like, look, they're in classes all the time, like they're always learning in classes. And then my professor was like, yeah, but the real lessons are the ones they learn outside of the classroom, including like when Lupin in book 3 like tutors Harry to learn how to do the Patronus charm, like that is an
Kind
outside
of.
of the classroom thing, and like that is how he gets ahead of the curve, for like magical learning is having outside of classroom learning. Just very
Yeah.
interesting since it is something that's like set in a school, so you would think that it would be very like classroom focused.
The fifth one
Um,
especially though, is like because it's talking about government interfering in education with Umbridge and everything, and that one's like super talking about how you learn like they learn defense against the arts outside of class
mhm,
on their own. So
yeah.
even in Harry Potter you get that. It's true.
Which is
Rachel's saying that she feels like a lot of YA makes school a place where everyone stands around and never has hours of homework.
this is so true. Um, back to J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter now that for like 1 second. It's interesting because J.K. Rowling is another person who's worked as a teacher previously.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting the people who were teachers and then write about education in a way that isn't like you learn everything in the classroom.
I
Hang on,
think
Ariel's
probably
got more
because, like
comments
for
too.
them that has been their experience is that teachers get to see firsthand how difficult it can be to teach just in the classroom, especially
True.
working with, bureaucracy or whatever. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Ariel is saying that she thinks that YA is neutral because they're kind of like school's the place where we have to go and life is outside of it, but they're not super anti-school.
that's true.
Yeah, and then
I was thinking like Dead Poet Society though. It's about a teacher who is, unusual and that they don't work the way that education normally does. So it feels like when you do
true.
have like good teachers who are shown, it's because they're different.
This is true. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like I taking back to my own experience, I guess. Like in high school, the teachers who impacted me the most were the ones who I had like the weird classes with were like I had an English teacher who like I adored her for regular English, then I also took her for a mythology class and then for like a creative writing independent study course senior year. And like I definitely like got more out of having her as a teacher by having her for these other classes that weren't the traditional like learning style classes. And then my other teacher who was really influential, like I had two others I guess who were really influential. And one of them like mainly was because he was my theater director, so like I saw him 24/7 because I was always in theater practice. And even though I took a bunch of classes with them, I mainly knew him from theater practice. So again, outside of the traditional classroom.
Yeah.
And then the third teacher was like the craziest human being alive in the best way possible, who like scared all of us to death, but then like taught us a bunch. And then he was my AP English teacher, and he's like, I'm not going to teach you to do well in the AP test. I'm going to teach you to do well in life, basically.
Yeah.
And like taught us a lot about like English and rhetoric and stuff, but it wasn't like the things that you were supposed to be learning in AP English really. But then like I really preferred that experience to probably what I would have gotten in a traditional AP English environment. Um,
For me, probably the teachers that have affected me the most have been either the rare few that actually notice me, because to be honest, I'm very good at blending in. The teachers who actually like they're not just like, oh, she's just sweet and good at school. They like, oh, she's kind of sassy when you pay attention.
you're
Whatever,
so
those ones.
happy.
And then the ones that are like, yeah, I'm going to teach you about the world, not just about the subject that I'm teaching. When you get
Mm-hmm.
those ones that just like to go off on tangents randomly, but they're like good tangents.
Mm-hmm. Ariel is saying basically when teachers have the chance to not follow the terrible stuff decided by the administrators or government in the curriculum, they teach really great stuff. So
Hmm.
she says she guesses that she is anti-traditional education in that way.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we've all proven so far, in a way.
Yeah.
Traditional education has its place, but you probably learned the bigger stuff from the people who break out of the mold that is
Yeah.
traditional education.
And I feel like our American system is broken, but that's a totally different topic.
No, I totally agree. It's so broken. Did you hear what's going on with the AP US history
No.
stuff right now?
Yeah.
That's hilarious and terrible. If you
Don't
don't,
let Capone.
if you don't know, viewers, is it Kentucky? I feel like it's Kentucky. Some random state is trying to make AP US history illegal because it's not patriotic enough because it talks about like slavery and stuff in a negative context. Like, are you kidding me right now? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. It
Yeah.
was one. It was some state that wasn't mine.
Yeah, so Lauren April replied to Rachel and said that she had also noticed that everyone stands around and doesn't do homework, or that they boot off to focus on other stuff. And then Rachel said, I feel unless it's a boarding school story, most YA has public school attending students, but you rarely see them in school.
Yeah, this is interesting because, like, in real life, you spend so much time in school, but then in books, like, there'll be, like, mentions of school, or you might be in school for, like, a couple scenes here and there, but most of the story takes place outside of school,
Yeah.
which is, I just feel like very unrealistic. I don't know. Maybe I just did too many extracurriculars, but I was never at home.
You can't just write about school, because it'd just be like, I sat in my desk and
True.
thought how much I wanted to not be here.
I mean, the way I survived school was that I wrote stories about not being in school while at school. So, that's a thing. Okay. Hang on, I missed one of Ariel's comments a moment ago, so I'm gonna go back up to it. So she was mentioning. Sorry, what were you saying?
Rachel was just saying, she was like, I'm waving from Oklahoma. Hi.
Oh no. Hi, Rachel.
Oh, and she says that the Raven Boys had more school stuff in it, but still a lack of homework.
Yeah. That series is really interesting too because like parts of it take place during the school year and parts of it take place during the summer. So it's interesting to see how it like moves between the two. Alright, so I'm just gonna grab Ariel's comment from like 10 minutes ago at this point. So she was saying back to Harry Potter, for stuff like Lupin's classes, Dumbledore's army, that's still education. It doesn't have to be traditional education to count as education, which I totally agree with. It's just interesting that the non-traditional education kind of trumps traditional education in fiction, and I guess in real life too, as we have proven. And she's saying that you spend so much time doing schoolwork, studying, homework. My life kind of revolved around school stuff. School's a way bigger part of it, which is so true. Like, I don't know. I'm like thinking back at high school, I could never survive that kind of schedule now, but I was like at school for 12 to 14 hours a day and I'd get like 3 hours of sleep. Some days like 6 hours of sleep on a good day because I'd be like, I'd go to bed, like I'd get home, eat dinner, go to bed at like 10 o'clock and then be up at like 4 a.m. to do homework for the next 4 hours. Like that's what school is in high school for so many people. Like I wasn't even the most involved person at my school.
Yeah. So, I'm a lazy butt, so I mostly just, went to school and then came home, and I didn't do other stuff. I was like, school, homework, food, sleep.
But that's more me now, where, like, I did all that stuff all growing up, like, elementary school through high school. I always had stuff going on, and then I got to college, and I was like, I'm so tired. So I basically just slept all of freshman year. And then I started getting involved in stuff more again. Like, I actually do some extracurriculars again now, but, like, I was so not involved freshman year of college because I was so exhausted from doing everything in high school.
Yeah. I still take naps, like, all the time. I just come to classes and I'll just be like, time for it. I have my cat. I have food. Sleep.
Alright, we got more stuff from Ariel.
Yeah, I can hear her.
She goes, oh yeah, sure, Kira, except write 18 novels.
See, that's what I do during class when I get bored, which is all the time.
Oh my gosh, I felt so bad today. I was like plotting and I got really into it. And I was in the middle of a class, and it was like a seminar with like 10 people in it, and I was sitting right next to the professor, and I was like making notes for the class in one notebook and notes for plotting the book in the other notebook, and I was like, oh, I'm a terrible human being. Like, you can totally tell I'm doing this right now.
I would just be like, I have an A in this class or whatever, which I do. And then I'd just be like, yeah, I'm writing. The only reason I'm here is because it's required.
Back to Raven Boys. Ariel says Adam's the only one who's as serious and does homework in those books, which is also really true.
That's because it's important to him though, because he's on scholarship and everything. Like otherwise he couldn't be there.
Yeah. I feel like Adam just really cares about
Yeah.
school. Like he likes school in the way that like he wants to get ahead in life, and the others are like, oh, whatever. Like Gansey can just do whatever he wants because he's super genius and charming and brilliant and like everything every person wants to be. Uh, and the others just don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aisha says, I feel like everyone just writes about school how they wish it would be instead of how it actually is.
This is true.
Yes. I run into hot boys all the time in the hallways, which is pretty much what happens in books.
And then if there's always an awkward moment where there is that hot guy, but they're never like a good person if they're attractive because they know they're attractive, and then you're like, really? Like, can't you just give me this one? Like, can't you just be the perfect YA book boyfriend once?
You would know, wouldn't you?
Oh. There were definitely
boy.
there were definitely some guys in high school where like I was like, you're so attractive, I can't stand your personality.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. What is something you think is generally misrepresented about school and fiction? And the fact that we've already talked about the fact that nobody ever goes to school or does homework in books. Outside of that, like, what are some other things that you think is misrepresented?
Again, the hot boys. I feel like a lot of the time when they have school, it's just there so you can meet people that will then do exciting things outside of school.
No, that's definitely a thing. I feel like how mature people are in books a lot. I feel like in a lot of YA, see like they're really mature. Like everyone's just either you get really immature people or really mature people. And I remember there were a lot of really immature people in my high school who like just drove you nuts. And then there were like great people too, obviously, but like there's a mixture of it. It's not like everyone is super mature and then other people are like goofballs off in the corner, you know? Like you should have a mixture of it. Yeah. Ariel's saying cliques. There are no strictly created cliques. That is totally true. We didn't have cliques at all in my high school. Like you kind of had friend groups, but everyone was like interwoven between them. You know, there were no defined cliques, and there was no social order at my high school where you had people who had more friends, but you didn't have like the popularity complex of like.
We did.
You know?
We had popular kids and we had some cliques, but it wasn't quite as strict as it usually is in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Also partially because my school's just weird because we live in a town full of PhDs, and so
True.
the popular kids are usually not the football kids. They're the kids who have straight A's and are going to Harvard. So
Yeah, that was definitely a thing at my high school too. Like our popular kids weren't the kids who did sports necessarily. It was the kids who were on the student council mainly.
Right. Yeah.
And then because they're like the people we saw all the time because they're always like giving talks and stuff. And then but then it wasn't even just that. It was like I had a couple friends who were super like. So I don't even want to use the word popular because I feel like that has such a negative connotation. Like nowadays, after having like all these movies with cliques and stuff, but just like kids who had a ton of friends were like everywhere they went, there was someone they knew. And I feel like we all know people like that. But you know, I had a couple friends like that who like didn't even do anything that necessarily it wasn't like a club or something defined them as that. It was just that was their personality.
Yeah.
You know.
There's definitely lots of people like that too. Well, not lots of people, but those people exist everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Ariel's saying people do not name their cliques. Also, nobody really cares about the popular kids in their lives. This is also true. Like nobody cares.
Stalking the popular kids for a while though. You gotta admit. We wrote playlists for each of the guys in the popular clique because we were that obsessed. It was a little bit sad, but it was entertaining. So yeah, we paid more attention to
Mm.
that, but like I do get what you're saying because it's not the way that it is in books. And yeah, no
Yeah.
naming of cliques. That's not a thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like at my school, like I said, I did theater a lot. Like I spent so much time doing theater stuff in high school. It was my entire life basically. I basically lived in the auditorium, and I feel like we actually had cliques more in theater than we did like in the general school atmosphere. And even then, like people were friends with everyone, but it was like you'd have like the actors and the techies, and like it was that kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause that's what I was thinking because I was music
hmm
and that was where I spent my time was in the music area. And so we had the orchestra and the choir and the band geeks and they were all a little bit like "Yeah," of each other, which is fun because I'm orchestra and choir, but you know.
hmm Ariel's got some comments. So she said at her school there was this thing of the smart populars, where there were kids that all got good grades and were going to good colleges and they all hung out a lot. But it's not like they were. She doesn't know like cheerleaders necessarily or did drugs. Like they were just smart. Um, and now she's mentioning the new movie The Duff, which is based on a novel by Cody Keplinger, who wrote it when she was a teenager.
Mhm.
Um, which is interesting because that book also has a lot to do with like popularity and stuff. I haven't actually read it, but
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about it and I keep meaning to read it.
yeah.
Especially the movie coming out because the movie looks cute, although I've heard it's really different from the book.
No,
Of
right.
course, but that take I feel like that one like I need to obviously read the book slash see the movie to understand it, but it looks like it takes popularity from a different angle of
Yeah.
being less of like there's one like popular clique as much as there are like different groups of people who can all be popular at a school.
Hmm.
Um, so hang on a second. We've got notifications on Twitter. Lauren April saying everyone always seems really cliquey in YA novels, and her high school actually kind of was like that, but she feels like not all schools are. I feel like it
Right.
depends on how much the school district does to stop it, honestly. My school district did a lot as we were growing up to make sure that we didn't end up with a clique situation, which I didn't really realize at the time, but then like looking back on it, I realized it more. Where they're constantly like mixing us up between classrooms and like making us make friends with different groups of people. So like
I think it probably
we didn't
also
really have the opportunity. What was that?
different cities have different, different people coming from different cultures, from
True.
different backgrounds, from different parental expectations, and that affects like how you define yourself and where you put yourself in cliques and stuff.
hmm That's the
So,
other thing. Like I definitely you see this more with I don't know how to put this in a way that sounds good, but like the like gang issue books, if that makes sense.
hmm.
You'll have like the kids from the wrong side of the track versus the people on the right side, like the outsiders. The outsiders is really
Yeah.
good about that, showing how different like situations can lead to different groups. That also though, my I come from a really diverse area with like we had kids who lived in like the multi-million-dollar mansions, and then we had kids who lived in apartments, like one-bedroom apartments with like their entire families, and we were all friends, and it didn't really affect us, like how you were. So
Yeah.
again, I feel like a lot of it does come down to how the school treats the situation, and like yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff.
I mean, I come from an area where everybody's white or Asian, so and I feel like we had more clicks than you guys did. Not by a lot, but somewhat. So maybe that's just how you try to define yourself if there isn't the diversity there. I don't
Yeah, that
know.
could be. I don't know. We also, I feel like we defined ourselves mostly by what extracurriculars we did and
Yeah,
what classes we took. Like we had the AP kids and you had like the music kids and you had the art kids, and it wasn't that we didn't interact within those groups because everyone was
Mhm.
in multiple groups and you all hung out together between the different groups, but
Mhm.
the way we defined ourselves as who we were was more by that than by like race or like how much money our families had or anything like that.
Right.
Um, hang on a second. Do we want to move on to the next question? Because I feel like we're kind of transitioning towards that in a second anyway.
Yeah.
So the next one is, what is something you think is generally represented well about school and fiction? So I guess we already covered this a little bit in saying that the the teachers who don't just follow the rule book for how to teach are the ones that will affect you the most. That's portrayed a lot in fiction, and that is true in life. Kira, do you have thoughts?
I am blanking. I really am.
um,
Read so many books when in school.
I've got something. How difficult chemistry is. Um, chemistry is a terrible class. It is hell on earth, and for some reason, one of our friends pointed this out. For some reason, like in any book that needs to have a hard class, it is chemistry.
That's really true. Oh my gosh.
um, I don't know. What else is represented well about school? Uh,
Literally just like I can't think of anything. I was just like I'm looking at all the library books I've got here and all the books on my shelf and I'm just like none of these have school in them.
mhm.
I mean,
I
I
like.
think
Sorry, go on.
I was thinking about beautiful creatures and how I feel like that represents pretty well how the culture of the town affects the culture in the school. You know,
Definitely.
we're getting seriously involved with the prejudices that they all had and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah, that
So,
one's really good in that it shows how like the prejudices started with the way that they were teaching the kids, and then it moved up into the parents.
yeah, yeah.
Ariel says, for some reason, every time you need to discuss philosophy, there's a physics class. I'm laughing about this mainly because I wrote a short story where that was a thing, like a week ago.
Yeah.
um, guys, physics is a great way of discussing philosophy. Um, a really good example of doing that is Amy Zhang's debut book, Falling into Place.
Yeah.
The first point I saw it actually was, this is probably embarrassing, but it's not embarrassing to me for some reason, but Miley Cyrus's memoir that she had ghostwritten, so it's not actually written by her, but it's called Miles to Go. It's from like 10 years ago at this point. Um, but she like talks about like Einstein and Isaac Newton and stuff, and it's and she like applies it to her life, and I was like, wow, that's so smart. Not realizing that like it's like kind of a cliche thing to do at this point. like,
Um. Oh yeah, in English too. They always, whenever there's a book that they're reading in English, it's related. It's always
yeah, I
related.
was about to mention that though. I like that though.
I
How
do like it, but I feel like that's because I'm an English major, and if I
yeah
wasn't,
yeah. Um, I really like books that reference other books, and it makes it difficult if you haven't read the other book, which
yeah.
happens sometimes. But like, um, what am I thinking of? Oh, I just read it last semester for a class actually, but it's uh, We Were Here by Matt de la Pena.
Oh yeah.
The kids aren't actually in school for it because they're in a I can't remember words. They're not in school. But the main character reads a ton of books during it, and then like applies those books to his own life, and he has like Catcher in the Rye and The Color Purple, and like all these old classics that are
Yeah.
fantastic, and like it's really cool to like see how those books still apply to like modern teenagers, and
Mhm.
then to like use that as a way of like connecting to those books. Like I love books that do that. It's really great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we've got a few
Ariel,
things on Twitter.
while you're finding those, Ariel says it's
So
true that
Rachel was
when
saying,
she reads books for school, she starts relating them to stuff in her life. And she tried really hard to do that by making Hamlet important in her book, but it did not work. Alright, so what was Rachel saying?
That we need more diversity in the school, not just for diversity's sake. And that one of the things that's best represented is the drama of high school.
True, true. Except my high school experience also was just very dramatic. I don't know. We all got along really well. There's definitely drama, but it wasn't like within my friend group.
Yeah, because again, I'm one of the people who kind of fades into the background, so it wasn't something that I experienced very much.
hmm I honestly, I was thinking about it the other day, and I don't think I've ever had like a real fight with like any of my high school friends. Where like I still talk to most of them like regularly, and I've never had that like, oh, you're terrible, I'm never speaking to you again moment. Like if we get annoyed at each other, we either just like take some time off or like we talk about it like rational human beings, which is interesting because it's
I've
always.
had fights with friends where we've split off. Yeah, there have been friends that have faded off because of that, but I always kind of figured that if that happened, it was just because that friendship wasn't meant to stay, I guess, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. A while ago, my roommate Hannah, who we saw a few Chapter 1 Con Chats ago, she texted me to say we should talk about Fangirl and Frankie Landau Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Is that her name?
Something like that. Yeah. The digital history of Frankie. Yeah, I think it's Landau Banks.
Yeah, Landau Banks. Okay. Because those are weird school representations. So that's interesting. She brought up some good ones there because Fangirl actually it's college, not high school, but that one's interesting because we mainly see the main character like arguing with her professor like all the time. Frankie Landau Banks is just like a very weird representation of school. I don't know if they're ever actually in class in that book. They talk about classes all the time, but I don't think they're ever actually shown in class.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you remember?
Still a great book, though.
Yeah, it's such a weird book. Oh my gosh, I love Elockhart. She's like, We Were Liars I liked way better than Frankie Landau Banks, but Frankie Landau Banks was still like, I just didn't know what to make of it. It was so well written, but it was like over my head.
I really like it. I like it a lot. It just really made me think.
Okay, let's see.
Time to check Twitter and Skype again.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess let's move on to the next question because it looks like we're all out of stuff to say about this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question from our pre-assigned questions, and remember, if you want to ask a question, you can tweet using hashtag #Ch1Con, and we will answer your questions. It's great. Okay, so our last question of the night is, what would you like to see more or less of in future YA books in terms of the representation of education?
More relationships with teachers, I feel like. Not like awkward. Not like that.
Like Pretty Little Liars? Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see them interact with teachers that they love. I want to see them interact with teachers that they hate. I want to see that because teachers are really important in our lives, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Like I have teachers I still talk to from high school. I have a teacher who I had for 3rd and 4th grade who I still exchange Christmas letters with every year. Like, there are awesome teachers who will come into your life, and you will continue to talk to them outside of classes, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, they will affect your life outside of the classroom. So, that's a good point, Kira. I don't know. I feel like part of me wants to be like, I want to see people actually in classrooms more because that will better represent what real life is. But then at the same time, like that's so boring.
Yeah.
So maybe just people doing like extracurricular activities more. Like instead of like just hanging out with their friends
am I still on? What? Is it still broadcasting? Ariel, tell me. Is it doing the thing? Anybody? Am I still on the air? Oh dear. If I am, we're having technical difficulties, apparently. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hi. I don't know what we're going to do about Julia dipping out there for a minute, but yeah, I guess I'm here. So hey, what's up? Let me remember. What were we talking about? We were talking about things to do better, and Julia was probably in the middle of a sentence, which, wow, this is awkward. I'm talking to myself, kind of. Anyway, Ariel was saying a minute ago, I noticed, that she agrees with the teachers and with people who like classes, showing more of that, which is true. Because I feel like a lot of people still really love certain classes, and I feel like I just heard Julia somewhere.
Am I back?
Oh, yes, there you are.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. My Wi-Fi just cut out. It's back now, though, hopefully permanently. This is what happens when you live in an apartment building with like 5 billion other people.
Yep.
Okay, what did I miss with our wondering if the chat was still going?
I was just saying that I was just reading what Ariel had said about what she wants, and one of the things she said was for people to really like certain classes, which is really true, because I feel like a lot of people, there is a specific class that they're gonna really like.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it was always English.
Whoa, it just paused on me. Are you still there, Kira? Oh. I don't know if this is my internet doing this right now or if Kira's internet paused. Ariel, help us out here. Am I talking or is Kira still going?
Listen.
And I am still here? Guys, I'm so sorry about all these technical difficulties tonight. I'm so sorry. Kira, are you back?
I think I'm back.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. What are we even talking about? Now all I can think about is like just hoping the Wi-Fi stays on.
Oh, you're talking about what could be done better, like what we want to see more of.
Oh yeah, okay, so people liking classes, like really liking them. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I would love to see that more, like people having like a favorite class that they love to go to or a favorite, teacher and all that stuff. I definitely feel like when I was in high school, I would like survive the terrible hours of math and science to get to go to like my AP English class or my theater class or choir or band or whatever it was at the time. Okay, it looks like we lost Kira. I'm so sorry, guys. So I am just gonna ramble, I guess, until we get Kira back. Anyway, though, okay, so people who are watching, you guys are excellent. Do you have a favorite class that you think people should write about in books? Answer on Twitter using Ch1Con, hashtag Ch1Con. And we're going to try to get Kira back online. And there she is. Okay, so I guess I'll answer the question while we're sitting here. My favorite classes were obviously my English and creative writing related classes. And then also my theater classes. Really anything performance based, although I hated band freshman year. But like choir was a great class.
Oh.
I had a pretty great
Am I
choir
on?
director. Kira's on. Okay. Alright, Kira, you back?
I think I'm back again.
This is just crazy. Like, first my internet, then yours. What's going on? Is it the apocalypse? Are there, like, aliens raining outside and I just haven't realized yet?
Yeah, Ariel, let us know what's happening. It's the end of the world. We should really be prepared for that.
Ariel's saying that she would like to see books that represent classes other than English because she thinks books star English nerds a lot because writers are English nerds. So maybe someone who's got a passion for, like, science.
Yeah.
That'd definitely be interesting, except we've already established that we see way too much of physics as philosophy. So maybe just physics as physics would be an interesting one.
Or math, because we hate math.
Oh, yeah. I like math was, like, terrible, but also super easy, so it was, like, just surviving it. Yeah. I wrote so much during math classes.
Oh gosh. Well, Ariel was tweeting about me keeping everyone afloat because I was on the air before, so anyway.
Okay. Do we have anyone still watching after all of these technical difficulties? I'm assuming Ariel's still here, but anyone else stick around for the fun?
We are still broadcasting on YouTube and everything, right?
I'm pretty sure. If Ariel's watching, then we should still be broadcasting. One of these days, Google Plus is going to work, and then we won't know what to do with ourselves. Like. She says she wants someone who's like, I want to be a physicist because they love it. Not someone who's doing it because their dad wants this here or whatever. There's actually a really great book that has that, except maybe it's not like from that perspective, but I really enjoyed it as a book and I feel like recommending it. Is oh goodness, now I can't remember the title. One second. It's a great book. I'm gonna go grab it because I can't remember the author's name. So, I'll be right back. Kira, entertain us.
Okay. I guess it's time for me to do a jig now, right? Woo! Woo! Party! Woo! Education! Thinking! Teachers can be bad and good! And critics don't really exist the way they do in books. But nobody wants to write about homework because that's stupid. Hi! She can't even hear me right now because her headphones. Oh, hi! There you are.
I grabbed a few books because I saw a couple others on the shelf that I was like, oh, these are interesting for school. So what I was looking for is All Our Yesterdays.
Oh yeah, I read that, but I don't remember it well.
Kristen Terrell, and it's a time travel book, and it does time travel in a really cool way. But it's interesting. It doesn't really have school in it, but it's interesting because one of the main characters is like super science geek and so smart, and it's like, whoa, you're so intelligent, and like I'm jealous of being able to write someone who's that intelligent and like just makes sense as being that smart.
That reminds me of love that has school in it. I'm so excited now. So
the other two I grabbed. This is a dystopian.
Yeah.
Viral Nation by Shanta Grimes has school in it. In a very interesting way where the character doesn't really go to school, but they talk about school a lot.
I have Rebel Nation. It's on Interlibrary Loan.
Nice. Yeah. Look at us, we're matching. And then the other one I grabbed because I think this is just like such a weird school example is Premeditated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
By Jocelyn L. McKean. Because I have no idea. Probably not. I'm really bad with names. I think it's McQueen, and I just like butchered such an easy name.
I don't know.
But anyway, it's interesting because the girl like transfers into a private school to like enact her revenge plans against a boy who goes there. And they actually do show the classroom occasionally, not often, but occasionally. What I really
Right.
like about that one is that the girls in a theater class, and they actually show like actual like techniques for theater stuff in it, which is like very interesting because it's not about theater, but it randomly has this component of being in the theater class. Um, oh, you know who does school really well in a lot of ways?
Yeah.
Lauren House Anderson.
Right, yes, that's true. That's very true. Anyway,
Like,
I thought of one when you were talking
mhm.
about all our yesterdays, about someone being super geeky about something. And that was, I recommended this last time too, because it's diverse. But the Earth Girl, I just really love this, and it's not very well known. It's by Janet something, I don't know. British, so, but it's a sci-fi about a future where we've all gone off into all these planets, but some people are allergic to any atmosphere but Earth, and they're considered
Huh.
the disabled people. And so it's about the main character who's either Jara or Hara or something. I don't know how to say her name. I'm gonna go with Jara. And she's just like a super geek about history, and she's like the Hermione of sci-fi, and I just love her.
That's another thing. I love history geeks. Like I'm not a big history person, but if someone can talk about history and make it interesting, or like to be interested in history, like that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever to me. Like,
Yeah.
please write history geeks, guys.
Yeah.
Um, just anyone who does. What am I thinking of? Um, it's like on my nightstand right now because I just finished it like a week ago. Oh, it's so obvious. What is it? Um,
I know
oh
you
my
just
gosh. I just recommended it on my blog and everything. It's the one that everyone's been talking about. It's Suicide Story. Um,
Little bright places?
that one, All the Right Places.
Yeah.
Um,
I got that
that
over here in this pile too.
it's really good. That one has a bunch of school scenes in it. Not a ton in classrooms, but a lot about like school dynamics and how people interact at school and how people are different at school versus at home and like all that kind of stuff. And there are quite a few classroom scenes. It's just like it's more that like the classroom scenes are shorter, so they don't seem as important as the other scenes.
Right.
But they still play an important role in the characters' lives.
Right.
That was a good example too. So really what we were saying earlier, like contemporary stuff has a lot of school in it.
Because a lot of people go to school contemporarily.
Crazy, right? You know, when you're not busy saving the world, chances are you're going to school.
Whoa.
It's so unbelievable. um,
I was just
oh,
thinking about
sorry.
about the school experience and about what it is that you remember, you know?
Hmm.
Because we're talking about like learning lessons outside of class instead of inside of class, and I'm thinking when I think about high school, how much of it do I remember about being in class? And it's not very much of in class that I remember.
True, true.
Except for
I
staring at the clock and being like, are we done yet? But
honestly, I honestly feel like I have just a lot of general like recollections about what it was like to be in a classroom, but not a lot of like specific ones.
yeah.
It was like, oh, I remember like what this teacher was like, but I don't actually remember any specific examples of that teacher like being a jerk or being like a cool person or anything
Yeah.
like that. You know what will be interesting? With the new Harper Lee book coming out to see how Scout changes.
I'm nervous. I just love her so much as a kid. I'm so nervous. I don't know.
'Cause that like I was just thinking about like how speaking of memory, like how you remember things differently and like
Yeah.
obviously To Kill a Mockingbird is Scout looking back from adulthood to when she was a child, but you still like get the entire book from the child perspective kind of. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see who she is as an adult, you know, not recollecting on her childhood.
I just hope it's not gonna break my childhood because
Ariel is saying that she just remembered Twilight has a lot of class scenes. They have biology and stuff. Twilight is a good example.
That's true.
This is true, which is I feel like so.
Twilight.
Did we talk about this with another chat? I feel like it wasn't the diversity chat, but we talked about it with another one where Twilight like is such a terrible thing with like values and stuff, and like it's just like you don't want to look at it from like the relationship perspective, but then also all the popular like the big three of children's literature. You have Harry Potter, Twilight, and The Hunger Games. And of those three, it is the only one who has a diverse character in the primary trio. And then now we find out that Twilight is pro school, like having all these classroom scenes, and they have biology. Like
Whoa, Twilight.
Twilight, unexpectedly
We
good.
don't really know what race Gale or Katniss are because they're both kind of like mixed race
True.
something.
It's more in the movies that they're white, whereas in the book they're more just whatever
Movie.
they are. So they have like the olive skin and everything in the
Yeah.
books. That's a good point.
Yep.
Goodness.
Nope.
So, Kira, do you have any questions on the representation of education and fiction?
I want to know about your representation of education and your fiction.
Is that to me or to our viewers?
To you at this point.
Me.
On the chat. Viewers can talk about it too.
Anyone
Like
who
on
wants to answer can.
Nothing right
with-
now.
Within my fiction, of the 5 novels I've completed, all of them have a school element in some way. However, the one I've worked on the most is my characters are not traditionally educated. It's contemporary, but it's like a weird twist on contemporary. It's not real. I've talked about it so much in these chats, but it's about like this girl who's like basically a spy. So she's not in like regular school 'cause she's off doing spy things. However, within like her spy society, they have like a school that they all go to learn their spy skills. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm really tired, guys. But anyway, it's not even funny. Anyway, though, they go and learn their spy skills there, but she's not in the school anymore. She's graduated and is like a full-fledged spy now. But in all my other books, like I've gotten one other that's in a spy school because I read spy stuff a lot. But of the other 3, all 3 of them have like heavy school components. Really, that's the primary place where like things happen. Honestly, where kids hang out with their friends and like learn stuff. I don't know. What about you, Kira? What's your representation of education?
I feel like it's half and half for me. Probably half the books I've written have that same kind of focus like you were talking about, where you do have a pretty heavy setting in school, and the other half is just like, what school? So it depends. It's like the heavier fantasy and sci-fi, I don't have schools as much. But when I go into lighter sci-fi fantasy or into contemporary, then school's like really big. So
That's interesting. I wasn't even thinking about it. When you get into like high fantasy where it's not set in our world, you see school much less. Where you might have people like doing like an apprenticeship, but they won't have like regular school.
yeah, I've done that. So.
Hang on. Ariel has some comments. So she says, "Oh, get ready. I have plenty of education in my book. One of my protagonists really seriously loves music, and he has a great relationship with his band teacher and does extracurricular projects. There's also a good representation of how people get anxiety over school. I hope, anyway. In my old books, I also had a spy school with a double agent teacher and like a double agent teacher. Wow, what a terrible book." Yeah, school. Oh, there's a school in Cadence. Cadence being my spy book. It's just not there for very much. It's like the first chapter.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
My girl she runs away from the spy organization and is at boarding school, and then they bring her back to do their dirty work. So she
Yeah.
like runs away to school and they force her back because,
I
that's
feel
realistic.
the one thing about my including classes in my fiction is that I feel like a lot of the time it's gonna be pieces that I'm gonna have to cut once I'm done, like when I
Yeah,
the
yeah.
editing. It's like it just goes on. It's like then I went to science, and then I went to math, and then I went to English, and then I went to history.
It gets very monotonous after a while.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, I don't miss the days of having like the set schedule where you did the same thing for an hour each class, 7 classes a day, 5 days a week for an entire year. Like I do not miss that at all.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's a certain beauty to having a set schedule because then you can keep track of things.
This is true. I always like in the morning, like, wait, what day is it? What classes do I have today?
Did I like which stuff is in my backpack today? And then I forget half the time to bring the right
Yeah,
stuff.
always, always. I have my choir class in the evenings, and I'm always forgetting my music, and my choir class is a mile away from home, so if I forget, I'm just like, screw it. Like, going without the music today, I'll steal someone else's.
She's like, I have a big project due. Wait, I brought the wrong folder.
Oh my gosh. Or like when they schedule midterms separate of your actual class time or whatever, and you're like, but wait, I thought class was like from 2 to 3. Why do I have a midterm at 7 p.m.? Like, what's
Or when
going
something's
on
like
here?
6 in the morning and you're like, no.
The other thing
Not
too, though, the other thing with college though is that you do get such weird hours. Where
yeah.
one day you'll have class at 6 a.m. and the next day you have class at 9 p.m. and you're like, what is this? Okay.
Weird life.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, if you have any other questions for us whatsoever, whether it deals with education or anything else, you can send those in to us using hashtag Ch1Con on Twitter,
You
and
can
we will
also talk
answer.
about your books and education like we just did, because nobody's done that yet. Besides
Yeah,
Ariel,
do
who is
that.
on Skype, not Twitter.
Yeah, Ariel's sitting in all for stuff on Skype. Um, so I guess we can give him like a minute or two more if anyone has any questions. Um, and I will give the whole spiel on Chapter 1 Con again because that's always fun. So, if you are watching, this is Chapter 1 Con Chat, which is a monthly video chat in which the members of the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference team talk about writing and reading and issues in writing and reading and publishing and all that good stuff. And we want to hear from you. If you have any questions or chat topic ideas or like comments or anything, use hashtag Ch1Con on Twitter and we will respond. Or you can email us at chapter1conference@aol.com, and that is spelled out, all those, like no numbers. It's O-N-E spelled out in the middle of that.
That's
And we won't be able to get that while
one.
we're on air, but we will respond. And if you're interested in attending the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference, I promise it will be much more organized than this chat is. That will be Saturday, August 8th, 2015, just outside of Chicago. We're in the suburbs of Chicago in Arlington Heights. At a hotel, we have a conference room. It's very snazzy. Last year, they gave us water with, like, different fruits and vegetables in it. Like, it was pretty cool. It was very fancy. We will have like book giveaways and trivia to do. You get to interact and make friends with other young writers. And we have some awesome speakers lined up. We have got 3 announced so far. We'll be announcing 2 more in the near future. So our 3 announced speakers are Kat Zhang, who is our keynote speaker, who is the author of the Hybrid Chronicles through HarperCollins, and she's fantastic. She wrote the first book her senior year of high school, and then like got her publishing deal at 19, if I'm remembering right. And like, what? That's crazy. That's awesome. And that could be you too if you come to the conference. And then we also have 2 other people. Speaking at the conference, we have Taryn Albright, who is a freelance editor who has worked with like New York Times bestsellers and stuff. She's incredible. When she isn't editing books, she also writes shows for Disney, like Disneyland. And like that's incredible too. Like Taryn's like the most amazing human being on the planet. Um, so she'll be leading a workshop. So you could come and participate in a writing workshop with someone who has also worked with New York Times bestsellers. Like I'm excited by that, and I'm not even participating, guys. I'm just managing stuff. And finally, we have Ava J, who is one of our session leaders, and she is a young author. She's currently in college, going to be publishing her first book in 2016. It's a YA or NA science fiction book. I can't remember which one, but basically, that same kind of group there. And it sounds really, really cool. And she is going to be leading a session. And when she isn't writing, she also is an assistant editor for a publishing house, which is like fantastic too. Like these are crazy, awesome things that you can do as a college student, and I feel like very much like jealous of these people because they're amazing, and I can't wait to hear them speak. And you shouldn't be able to wait to hear them speak either. So if you would like to register to attend the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference, again, Saturday, August 8th, 2015, in Arlington Heights, which is a suburb of Chicago, you can go to our website, which is www.chapter1conference.com. There should be a link in the description box, and you can register. And right now, to attend the conference costs $39.99. In June, the price will be $49.99, and in August, it will be $75. So it's going to go up a little bit over time, so register now to get the nice cheap price. And you get so much for doing, for that for $39.99. You get so much for it. You get all these amazing speakers. You get to actually have people who've done incredible things work on your writing with you, along with having like lecture style stuff where you learn from people. And you get to interact with these writers. There's going to be a panel where you can like ask them any question you want to whatsoever, like literally any question. Last year we were asking people like what their favorite fast food chain was. Like literally anything you want to ask. If you've ever wanted to ask an author a question, this is your chance. And it's just going to be great. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the chat, Ava J's agent, Louise Fury, who's a fantastic literary agent who's currently closed to query letters, will be opening to query letters for up to 10 days after the conference for conference attendees. So you get the opportunity to pitch your novel to an amazing literary agent by attending the conference as well. So come to the conference, learn about writing, afterward edit your novel, like make sure it's awesome, send off your query letter to Louise Fury. For all we know, you're going to be amazing and will be speaking at the conference in 2016. Like, it could happen. And that is my spiel. Okay.
Yay.
So Ariel has a couple more things on Skype that she wants to say. So she said, oh, one more thing I thought of. People in books get away with way too much stuff in class. You can't write a 10-page journal entry in a 40-minute math class. Also, just so you know, I've been drawing Harry Potter fan art while paying attention this whole time. It is like I'm a teenager doodling during a high school class. I'm really happy that we have inspired her to doodle her Harry Potter fan art.
Art is beautiful. Really, though, I love it.
So,
nothing else.
Yeah, I think we are basically done. I think people are tired. So, Kira, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Cat dang! Ooh.
I'm so excited about all these speakers. But like, I've heard Kat speak before. I went to a writing workshop she did in Michigan a few years back, and like, she's amazing. Like, she's so smart and just knows how to like say things in a way that makes sense for like getting across for your own writing. So like, I'm very, very excited to have her be our keynote this year. I'm so excited for all these speakers. We have an amazing lineup for you guys this year. I've been like sitting on all these names for like 3 months now, as we've been like working out contract stuff. Like, I just want to tell everyone who's speaking at the conference. All right. Well, that is it, I guess. So thank you for coming. Our next Chapter 1Con event will be next Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be having a Twitter chat in which you get to participate instead of just like tweeting stuff at us. Like, we want to hear what you have and your thoughts for stuff. And our topic will be something I'm not remembering here. Do you remember what the topic is?
Pursuing publication.
Pursuing publication.
Yeah.
It was too obvious for me to remember it. So we will be discussing pursuing publication. If you have thoughts on that or want to learn more about pursuing publication, we'll be discussing that next Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is Wednesday, February 25th. And then soon we will announce when our next Chapter 1Con video chat will be, which will be our March chat. And there's a chance, I've not like settled stuff yet, but there's a chance that it will be the first week of March, in which case I will be in Chicago checking out stuff for the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference. And we might be able to get another team member in on this. I haven't asked her yet, but possibly I can kidnap her from her family for a couple hours to do a chat together. So that could be fun. So that is stuff to look forward to. Again, if you want to check out more stuff about the conference itself, you can go to our website, which is www.chapter1conference.com, or just like Google us, Chapter 1 Young.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, so kitty. Hi, cat. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. No, her internet is down, and presumably I'm still here. I don't know if I am or not, but it happened last time, so I'm here. Hi. I think. I might be here. I might not be here. Yeah, it says I'm live, so I guess I'm here. Yeah, so we'll be doing Chapter 1Con events, like we do. And Julia's gonna try and finish this off herself because she's like that, and she's gonna try and get back on here. But yeah, we do things, and they're exciting, and you should come and join us, and also register, like we've said a whole bunch, because this conference is cool. Woohoo! I think she's back. Are you back? Are you here? Broken heart? Sad days? Oh no, that's a really bad heart. Whoa. There it goes. Little heart. Little heart. Broken heart. Waiting for Julia. I could end this myself, but she's asking me to wait for her. Let us see. Yeah. Okay, yeah. She says I need to keep talking, so I'm talking. This is me speaking words. I have a cat. His name's Spartacus. You saw him earlier. Right now he's sitting on my dresser because he does that. Because he's a weirdo. Let's see. I had a really good time at Ch1Con last year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to come this year because I'm in New Mexico and travel expenses are bad. But I'm super excited, so I think I'm going to come. Mostly we're just trying to figure.
Oh, come on, we're
hey.
here. Am I here?
Yeah!
Oh, hey, awesome! Of course we needed one last technical difficulty at the end of the night. Oh my gosh, this Wi-Fi situation is just getting crazy. Okay,
Yep.
good job rambling. I'm quite impressed.
I'm a Class A rambler.
Okay, do you want to finish what you're saying so we can end the chat?
It didn't really matter. I was just, yeah, no, just go.
Okay, well, that is it for the show tonight. Finally, I am going to go sleep for 1,000 years after all these technical difficulties. So we will see you next Wednesday if you want to join us on Twitter, or sometime next month, possibly the first week of March if you want to join us for our next video chat, hopefully with a better Wi-Fi situation. And I hope you're having a good week. I hope that you consider attending the Chapter 1 Young Writers Conference, because we would love to have you there. I promise we aren't super creepy, even if we come across that way in these chats. Trying our best not to, but you know what? It's just really hard sometimes. But honestly, like the people who attend Chapter 1Con are just super, super nice, and everyone becomes friends with everyone, and it's a great time, and we would love to have you there. And that is the end of
Yeah.
my advertising the conference on this chat for the night. So have a good night. Good luck with school tomorrow if you have it, and just school in general because it's a tough thing to do, guys. Uh,
Mhm.
and you're awesome. Don't forget to be awesome. And good night. Okay. Bye.